Welcome to the second Auspex Tactics 5-minute 40k quiz. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, the strategy focused 40k channel where we're all about making the most out of our miniatures on the tabletop. Today though, we're back for another quiz based on the lore and rules of Warhammer 40k. Just like last time, there'll be 10 questions in this video, so write your answers down, record them or just remember them. Then half an hour after this video is released, there'll be a short video on the answers, so you can see how many you've got right, and challenge your friends to see if they can do better. So without further ado, let's get started. For question 1, we'll start out with another identify the miniature question. My question is, can you tell the name of this character? He looks to be a Space Marine hero of some sort, and for a bonus point he's carrying a relic combi melter. That combi melter also has a name. If you can tell me the name of this gun, then you can get an additional point. Question 2. As you can see, we have a little Gretchen here, and the Space Marines want to shoot him down. As per the current 8th edition rules, how many Space Marines armed with las cannons will it need to bring this guy down in one shooting phase? To narrow it down a little, you've got the choice of either 2, 5, 10, 15 or 20. So that's how many las cannons do you need to bring down this Gretchen? Question 3, and we're turning to matters of the heart, specifically matters of the heart of the Primarch Mortarion of the Diseased Death Guard. The question is, what is unusual about the heart of Primarch Mortarion? Is he suffering from atrial fibrillation, or is he just unusually loving? It might be one of those, or it might be something completely different that makes his heart somewhat special. Next up we have a 40k language question, specifically orcs in French. The question is, if this French big mech made a crabouilletor, what sort of orc vehicle would he make? Just to give you a bit of a hint, this word stems from the French crabouiller, which Google Translate tells me means to smash. So if that's what crabouiller means, then what is a crabouilletor? On to question 5 then, and we're turning our attention to the Xenos known as the Harlequins. The question is, what is the real name of the laughing god, the deity of the Harlequins? If you can tell me the name roughly, then you get 1 point. If you can spell the name, then you get 2 points. So who is the deity of the Harlequins, and can you spell that deity? I hear that everyone loves a good spelling test. On to question 6, and this is concerning Warhammer Legends, the area for the rules where Games Workshop no longer makes the miniature, but at some point in the past they did, so they'll still continue to support it. There's many things that are there, such as the Chaplain on Bike and Imperial Space Marine, as you can see here, but there's only one Imperial Guard or Astra Militarum unit that's in the Warhammer Legends section, so the question is, can you name it? And if you don't know, you can just have a rough guess. Moving on to question 7, and it's a history question, notably Imperial History. Firstly, who was the heretic who usurped control of the ecclesiarchy and crushed the Imperium under his heel during the Age of Apostasy and the Reign of Blood? So who was the tyrannical figure who seized control of the Imperium during the Age of Apostasy and the Reign of Blood? And in a somewhat related matter, this also leads to the question of why the Adeptus Sororitas is an entirely female order. So if you know why the Adeptus Sororitas, the military wing of the ecclesiarchy, is entirely female, then you get a bonus point for knowing that. Next we're going to some very recent rules changes, in fact so recent that the rules have only been previewed for Ragnar Blackmane of the Space Wolves. Ragnar Blackmane gets quite a lot of attacks when he charges into close combat. So my question is, how many hits would he get on average on a typical opponent if he charges into close combat, uses the Touch of the Wild stratagem, which gives him an extra hit for every hit roll of a 4+, and then also goes on to use Honour the Chapter stratagem to fight again. And to add even more attacks to the mix, we'll also assume that he's in the Space Wolves special doctrine Savage Fury, which allows him to make an additional hit on every unmodified roll of a 6. So Ragnar Blackmane has a lot of attacks. How many hits does he get on the opponent if he uses Honour the Chapter, Touch of the Wild, and is also in the Space Wolves unique doctrine, Savage Fury? Next we have a question on the competitive 40k scene, and there's 3 points up for grabs here, and we're looking at the Las Vegas Open. This is well known to be the biggest 40k tournament in the entire world, and it's often interesting to see which armies are on top of the game at the moment. What I'm looking for are which armies were played by the winner of the Las Vegas Open in 2018, 2019 and 2020. There are 3 different armies. You get 1 point for getting each right. Technically the 2019 one was a roughly 50-50 split of 2 different armies, so if you get either of them then you do get the point. So which armies were played by the winners of the LVO in 2018, 2019 and 2020? That's also the 3 editions that 8th edition has been around. Finally, we come to question 10, and we're looking at the Citadel colour base paint range. As I'm sure you know, Games Workshop likes to make whimsical names for their paint, and these 3 all have names from the 41st millennium. So as not to give the game away, I've replaced the names of each of these with the face of Sly Marbo. The first one on the left is named after a Chaos Warlord and it's a shade of black. The one in the middle is named after a Space Marine chapter homeworld and it's a shade of green. And the one on the right is named after a Primarch and it is a white base paint. So the question is, what 40k name is lurking under the face of Sly Marbo on each of these paints? Well, that one brings us to the end of the quiz, and we'll be releasing the answers in half an hour's time. So for the vast majority of people, you'll be able to go straight over to them now. So hopefully I'll see you in the next video, where we'll see how well you did.